So this one time I had to stay at my grandma's because my dad was on vacation. And I was having a huge box of clothes come in, and I was not about to have these hoes stolen, so I had my friend stop by to put them inside. So I called my friend up and I was like, hey, can you tell me when you get to my house and let me know when you put the package in? She's like, I got you, shawty. I was like, bet, girl. So around 10 minutes later, I got a call from her freaking out. She was like, Kayla, is there anybody at your house?
On how me and my dad walked into my mom sleeping with my brother. So like I said, this day I sprained my ankle, so my dad left his job early and picked me up. And again, my ankle wasn't too bad, but my coach wanted to send me home just so I can heal and not make it worse by putting pressure on it. Regardless, once me and my dad got home, everything changed. Once we walked into the house, we immediately heard weird sounds. We looked at each other and confirmed that, that's definitely moaning. My dad immediately thought my mom was cheating, but we just didn't know with who. The moaning was coming from my parents' room, which was just, why? At least have respect for the bed. Anywho, I limped my way over to the door with my dad. My dad opened up the door and my mom was on top of my brother, literally riding that pony. And the war began. Like for part 3.
This is why you should never abandon your old toys. Once there was an old toy store, and on the top shelf in the back of this toy store was a doll. Every day this doll watched as people came into the store, but no one ever paid any attention to it. Until one day its dreams came true. One girl named Lena came into the store and bought the doll. But things quickly took a terrifying turn. Although Lena liked the doll in the beginning, she quickly grew sick of it. Days and months passed and she ended up abandoning the doll like a piece of trash. Until eventually Lena got into a fight with her mother when she said, I never wanted the stupid doll anyways. But of course, she could have never known the terrifying consequences this would lead to. One night, as Lena slept in her bed, she heard a creaking noise. Then the noise moved closer and closer, until Lena's mother heard a scream coming from her bedroom. When she came in, she saw Lena on the ground, but it was how she looked that terrified her mother the most. Lena's arms and legs were bent in strange positions, like a disjointed doll. Her mouth was sewn shut, but she looked desperately up at her mother, then to her desk. And on her desk was a note that said, now you know what it's like to be a doll.
Story time! In my old school, I was in a friend group of 5 girls, including me. Annie, Camila, Jenna, and Emily. We were all like best friends and always had sleepovers on Fridays or on the weekend. But Camila always said that she couldn't make it because she had soccer practice. We all said, it's okay, you'll come next time, even though she never came, and we never thought anything about it. Until one Wednesday afternoon at lunch when Emily went to the bathroom. We were all like, oh my god, we should totally throw her a slumber party for her birthday next week, Friday. And everybody said yes, of course, and we all started planning it. But of course, Camila said, sorry, I have soccer practice, I can't make it. And me, as a straightforward person I am, said, you really can't miss one soccer practice for your best friend's birthday party? She of course felt really bad and said, okay, fine, I'll go. We were all super happy, but that was obviously a really bad idea.
Am I the asshole for ruining my niece's birth over a name? I, 29 female, was pregnant with twins a few years ago. Unfortunately, only one baby survived, a little boy who we called Henry, and my daughter who passed, we called her Daphne. My sister and I were close growing up, but we drifted apart. There was a rivalry on her part after I met my partner. For example, she hated that we got engaged before her. She has been with her partner for 3+ more years, and she threw a fit saying she wouldn't attend our wedding unless she was engaged too. So they got engaged, and threw an engagement party the night before my wedding. When I announced my pregnancy, she wasn't happy, as I'd done another thing before her, but when my daughter died, she seemed to be a lot nicer. Because of this change, we made her Henry's godparent. She became pregnant recently and refused to announce the name until a few days after birth. The baby girl was called Theodora, which is beautiful. I was bringing presents to her and I saw my dad building a huge toy box with the name Daphne on it. When I questioned this, I was told the baby is going to be called Daphne and only Theodora on paper. No one will use her full name, only her nickname. All of my family knew and supported her. I got upset and started shouting, asking if this was a cruel prank. She came out and told me to
I'm the asshole for breaking up with my boyfriend because I got bored. I've been talking to this guy for almost 2 years, but he hadn't asked me out until recent. I tried asking him out before, but he said he didn't want a relationship or anything serious. I respected his decision and told him that it was okay, but he always got mad when I would hang out with other guys or talk to other people. A few months ago, he asked me to be his girlfriend. It was horrible. He would never text me first, didn't check up on me, and would even talk to other girls, telling them he was single. It was mentally exhausting and really confusing. I told him I was sick of putting in all this work. He proceeded to call me a slut and a bitch for making him believe I loved him. After we broke up, he became obsessed with me. He even made a fake Snapchat account pretending to be someone from my school just to talk to me and to see if I was with a new guy. His friends tell me that he's been recently really down about the breakup and that I should feel terrible about breaking up with him. So I'm just wondering, am I the asshole for breaking up with my boyfriend because I got bored and he didn't put any effort into our relationship?
My 47 female life is destroyed and I am beyond devastated. My husband, 34 male, is having an affair with my son. A few months ago, I noticed a change in my husband. He stopped having sex, which was very odd for us. He also was more distant with affection and very secretive with his phone. And when I checked it, he had changed his passcode. So I checked his laptop and the same thing, change in password. We had always shared all that information, even when we changed it, so it didn't feel right. I started to feel like he was having an affair, and a coworker agreed that his actions seemed odd. She suggested I hide a camera at home, especially as I travel for work. After a lot of internal debate, I decided to do as she said and bought a camera that I could watch through my phone as I prepared for a short business trip. I hid it in our living room at an angle that covered most of the room, but mainly aimed at the top of the door so I could see if anyone picked him up or came in with him. When I checked it a few hours ago, I was horrified.
Part 2 about how my best friend started seeing my mom. So like I said, the one day I come home after school and they're both sitting on the couch already talking. And they look at me and say hi as if nothing was wrong with the situation. And then after that, Joey started mentioning how my mom was so hot. And I was like, yeah, no, she's pretty, but that's it. Well, the one day my mom left for work earlier than she usually does. So I messaged my dad and asked him if he wanted to hang out. So of course he said yes, and 5 hours later I came home and I go upstairs. And I'm just like hearing things from my mother's bedroom. So I go up and I open the door. And because I don't want this video to get taken down, you guys probably can guess what I saw. So I ran out of the room, ran downstairs. I start panicking. And Joey came and hugged me and said, I'm sorry, me and your mom just love each other. So I told them both they were absolutely disgusting. So then my mom starts crying and begging me to forgive her. And now I live with my dad.
So when I was in high school, a lot of the cool teachers would let the seniors out early last period so they could run to their cars and just go home. But my school had this janitor who everyone called Patchy because he had an eye patch. And before anyone comes for me, it was used endearingly and he knew about it and he called himself Patchy. Anyway, Patchy did not like when the seniors left early and he would zip around on his golf cart like around the parking lot trying to stop people from leaving early. Now the gig was if Patchy caught you and was able to stop you from leaving, like going in front of your car or like driving his golf cart into you, he would give you a detention slip and you weren't able to leave early and you would stay after school. So the funniest thing would be at like 2:30 p.m. you would see the seniors like crawling like underneath cars, hiding behind bushes. Some people would just go sprint into the parking lot and try to outrun Patchy and his golf cart. And the best is if like someone got caught by him while he was handing out the detention slip, everyone would run.